Well, hello world, it's Luann Pygott. It is the day before Christmas Eve. And look, I have not even started my baking. I've already burnt myself. Look at this. Look at that. I'm showing that because I've just put some One Drop Wonder and 40 Cure cream on it. And I want to see how that does with that. I made myself dinner, touched the edge of the cast iron skillet. Not even making Christmas cookies or cakes. I already burnt myself. So there is what it looks like now. Let's see what it looks like tomorrow. Okay, we're going to see if this One Drop Wonder 40 Cure cream will help it. But that should burn from the edge of my cast iron skillet. So I am going to make two kinds of cookies and two kinds of cakes right now. So what I'm going to start off with sugar cookies. And I love to make sugar cookies. I usually make these at Christmas. This is a recipe my mom used to make when I was a kid. Let me get a few ingredients out that I haven't gotten out yet. Let's get baking soda, baking powder, vanilla, almond. Where is my baking soda? Oh, here, powder. Here's the powder. Let me get the almond extract because that needs that. I'm going to need the cinnamon. I'm just grabbing a few things out of here I haven't gotten yet. That I'm going to need. I don't need the cinnamon for the sugar cookies, but I need them for other things. I need it for other things. So I'm just grabbing it. So here we go. We are going to start, and I'm going to make half this recipe because I don't want 8 gazillion cookies because I'm also making cakes. So we're going to have all kinds of desserts. And there's only, what is it going to be, like 13 of us, I think, for Christmas. And so I'm going to start. So I kind of just want a few of these. And the reason I'm starting with the sugar cookies is you make this dough and then you have to chill it for 2 to 3 hours. So I'm not going to actually be making the sugar cookies right now. I'm just going to be making the dough. So I'm going to start with a stick of butter because it's got to chill, because this is the kind that you like roll out and make into shapes and stuff. So it's going to be a little while before we actually make these cookies. Like I said, I'm just making the dough right now. So there's my butter. That is my stick of butter that is softened. And then I am going to add, let me get my, I'm cutting my recipe in half, but here's my directions. Cream, butter, and sugar. So I'm going to need 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar. And that looks like the only thing I don't have out is the powdered sugar. I have every other thing out. Hold on, let me get my powdered sugar. Oh dear, where is my powdered sugar? I don't know where that is. Okay, this is brown sugar. Oh, here it is. It's behind. I've got stuff in front of it. That's the problem. All right, I'm just knocking stuff over. Let's put this up out of the way. Oh my goodness. This thing's falling apart on me. Never did stay together very well. All right, get back together up there. Hold on here. Okay, maybe that will stay together. I got my Christmas music playing in the background. I hope you are doing something interesting to get ready for Christmas. Okay, so here's my powdered sugar. Let's start over here. Take my powdered sugar, and I need 3/4 of a cup. So let me get my 1/4 cup measure. And we are going to do 3/4 of a cup. Also, let me get, these are not clean, so let me put these away. Put away the not clean stuff. And then let me get my clean knife to do the powdered sugar. Okay, here we go. I'm going to level that off. I've got lumps in it. I have found that they'll just beat out though. I don't get concerned about, oh, you gotta sift it. You can sift it if you want to. But it's going to, it'll be fine in the dough. 2/4. It's kind of packed in here, so I'm kind of trying to loosen it. This one does have an awful lot of lumps. It's hard to level it. Okay, there's our 3/4 of a cup. All right, there's the powdered sugar. Then we're going to cream those together, okay? So we're going to take those two right here, lift this up, cream that together, and get that started. This is powdered sugar now. There we go. so there's that. Then I'm going to add my flavorings and an egg. Okay, so I'm going to start with the flavorings first. So I'm going to need half a teaspoon of vanilla. This is a 1/4 teaspoon, so I'm going to do it twice because I'm going to need it for the next one. Okay. Then a 1/4 teaspoon of almond extract. Now you can leave that out if you don't like that. Really don't want to get too much almond or it'll taste like soap, but it is really good if you just put a tiny touch in there. And it is in the recipe, a 1/4 teaspoon. Let me make sure I do have the right thing. I do. Make sure it's not something else. Okay. Whoop. Don't want too much of that. Okay, there we go. Almond extract. Okay, then I'm done with that. Then I'm going to mix that a little bit. Ooh, smell that almond. Okay, so here comes a little trick. So I only need half an egg for this recipe since I'm only doing half the recipe. So if you don't know how to measure half an egg, it's a lot easier than you think. It doesn't have to be that exact. So I'm going to take an egg. Let me get my egg carton over here because this will give me a place to put my shells. I'm going to move some of this stuff over here. There we go, because I'm going to get a mess. I'm going to get my recipe. I don't want to get my recipe messy. So you're going to take your egg, and I do need a half an egg for the next recipe too, so this is going to be perfect. So I'll still use both halves. So you put your egg in a little bowl, and you scramble it. Mix it together, and then you're basically going to pour half of it in, and you don't have to measure, just guess, because you know eggs are kind of different sizes anyway. So, I mean, seriously, how easy was that? So here's my egg, and like I said, you just kind of had to guess, like, half. Okay, there you go. And then you're going to save that half for the other recipe. I'm going to mix that together. So there we go. Then we're gonna, it says to sift your dry ingredients, which you can do if you want to, or you can do like me and you don't, because you just don't have to. So just be a rebel. I'm a sifting rebel. Okay, so then I'm going to put the dry ingredients in here. So then I'm going to have a 1 1/4 cups of flour. Okay, so there's my flour. And let me get my cup measure. Here's my cup measure. So I'm going to kind of like just, you don't want it packed. So you want to like lightly put your flour in here. They say if you want exact, really, really, really exact flour measurements, you should weigh it. Somehow we don't ever do that. This is a cup. So there we go. I'm going to level it off. I think I'm a little low here. Whoops. Now I'm real low there. Just stabbed into it. Okay, I'm going to go this way. So, if you are in the market for a new wife, I'm a good cook. I'm a really good cook. And I love to cook and bake. I'll fatten you up. I will. Unfortunately, I will. Okay, so let's do 1 1/4 cups. Okay, so there's one. That's one. And then here's a 1/4 cup. Also going to kind of do this. One and 1/4 cups of flour. Then we're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, which is the one in the box. Baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon. I see something else I forgot to get. I'm going to have to find that. All right, hold on. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda into the bowl there. I need cream of tartar. That's another one I've left out before and found it kind of didn't matter. But I know I've got some somewhere. It's just not in that spice rack, so that must mean it's over here. But will I be able to find it in less than half an hour? I don't know. Where are you? Cream of tartar. Probably find everything but that. Let's see. I have everything over here on little shelves, little graduated shelves. Still can't find things. Even though, oh, I see it. It's underneath there. How to get way under there? Underneath my rack. Okay, that's interesting. See if I can get it out. Oh gosh, there's two of them under here too. That's hilarious. Okay. All right, let's get that one out if I can. Oh, now it won't go back down. Oh, that's lovely. There it goes. Okay. There we go. Cream of tartar. Okay, so then we're going to add a half a teaspoon of that. So, you can see here, I want to level this off too. Let's see, this is kind of a full one, so don't use it for anything else. Add that in. Okay, so then we're going to mix. Start slowly. I think that's all I need to cream the tartar for. Okay, we're getting there, making this into dough. Sugar cookie dough. Now this is really small and it really is not going to make a whole lot of cookies. But like I said, that's kind of what I wanted. Okay, let's look at my list here real quick to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, I'm not. So then I'm going to take, let's give myself a little room over here on my counter. Move this butter. Okay, so here's where we're going to go. So what I'm going to do with this is you've got to refrigerate this for 2 to 3 hours. And I have found the best way to do this, because you're going to, after it chills, you're going to roll it out. The best way to do this is to start with it already kind of flattened out. So you don't want to really make this into a ball, because then you have to, do so much work to roll it out. So if you have it already kind of flat, you have to do very little rolling out. So we're just going to take some plastic wrap, take our dough here, and then I'm going to take it off the beater. But if you try to make cookies with it like this, it's kind of sticky, and you'll just be aggravated because it's not going to work. Now, with me rolling it out kind of flat like this, I probably really only need the 2 hours to chill it. Probably don't need the 3, because it's going to chill all the way through faster too. So you don't have to get it through a real thick ball of dough. But typically that's what you normally have seen people do, is make it a ball. Don't make it a ball, make it a flat pancake. And then it'll chill faster, and you won't have to do much rolling to get it flat, because it's already kind of flat. So then you won't overwork your dough, and you won't also trying to think what I'm trying to say. You won't also have to wait so long for it to chill. It's just not so much work. So I'm going to take our dough here, and we're just going to put it kind of in the middle of one end of this plastic wrap. And then we're going to scrape out our dough. And I think making the next batch of cookies, I don't really know that I even really need to wash it, because, you know, it's going to have similar ingredients, not exactly the same, but you don't really need to wash it, because I don't think it's not dirty, you know, it's just got butter and sugar and stuff in it, and flour, so I'm going to use all that stuff again. It might have a little more of an almond taste to it, but that's okay. So then take it, lay your other plastic wrap on top, and then flatten it like this. You don't want it all the way flat, you want it a little bit flat. and then you have like a disc. And then when you go to roll this out, it'll be so much easier. It's already halfway out. And then, like I said, it's going to take less time to chill. So I'm going to put that in the refrigerator, not the freezer, but in the refrigerator. Let me lay that in here. Let me find a spot for it. Okay, so there we go. Now let me get this off the pan. Now, those are, oh, let me see, that's 6. That's going to be 8:45, pretty much 8:45 that'll be ready, 8:45 my time. So I'm going to put this back in here, and I'm going to make the next batch of cookies. Just going to be oatmeal raisin, because those are Dad's favorites, and I want him to be able to have those at the nursing home. So I'm going to, have them to keep them there. I'm going to turn on the oven. Let's see, let me get that recipe for that. That recipe is here in the back. I just got to flip to it here. Let's see, where are you? Recipe. Too far. Okay, here we go. Oh, I took that out. Didn't need to. Oh, never mind. Just jabbering to myself here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this one in half too, because I just don't want that many. So here we go, back to our bowl. I'm going to go ahead and raise it back up, and we're going to start. This one tells you to start with the dry ingredients, the sugar and the dry ingredients, and then you're going to add butter, egg, and vanilla at the end. So I'm going to put in 3/8 of a cup of brown sugar, which is 1/8 of a cup is a 2 tablespoons. If you have a 2 tablespoon measurer, so that's basically a 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons. So let's do the 1/4 cup. And for brown sugar, you want to pack that so it's tightly packed down. So that's 4 tablespoons. And then this will be 8 tablespoons with the other 2 tablespoon measurement in there. So there's that. There's your brown sugar. White sugar, I'm going to do 1/4 of a cup. Moving stuff around here. 1/4 of a cup of white sugar. I have on my little Christmas apron today. I had lost this. Well, I hadn't really lost it. It was in my linen closet, and I couldn't find it. And lo and behold, I found it. So I hadn't found it for years. Now I found it. Okay, so now we're going to do, let's see, what does it tell me? Yes, raisins. Okay, so you're going to want 3/8 of a cup of raisins, which is the same as the amount of brown sugar. I really like to do a little extra raisins. So if you want a little extra raisins, put 1/2 cup of raisins. So let me find that. And, I was going to turn on the oven. That goes on 350, because I want to go ahead and get that turned on. Because these we're going to go ahead and bake. And then while these are baking, we're going to make sour cream pound cake. Because that takes like an hour and a half to bake. Then I have the apple cake to make too, but we will do that later. There's a little rest time here. Okay. All right, so there we go. That's close to 1/2 cup of raisins. It's just a little extra. I like a little bit extra. Then we're going to have a cup of old-fashioned oats. I'll just use this 1/2 cup measure and do it twice. Okay, 1/2 cup. Then we'll do a cup, which is almost like what's left in here. Let me dump it over here. Yep, it's pretty much what's left in this container, so let's just dump that in there. Kind of making a mess over here. Okay, so we're done with this. Let's put that away. Okay, so there's our oats. Then we're going to do 1/2 cup of flour. here. And dump in the flour so it isn't packed. You want it loosely in there, otherwise you get a little too much flour. Okay, half a cup of flour. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon. So quiet here tonight. Well, like every other night. So quiet. So, turn on the phone, have somebody to talk to. At least I can pretend I have somebody to talk to this way. And then we're going to have 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm going to need that cinnamon and nutmeg again for the cake. So let's get nutmeg. If you would rather do fresh nutmeg, you can. Let's see. What did I say? 1/4 teaspoon. To make sure that's dry. Teaspoon of nutmeg. Add over there with cinnamon. Okay, then we're going to have half a teaspoon of baking soda. Then we're going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So the other thing I didn't get was salt. There's my salt. Oh, my refrigerator's going, why is it doing that? Oh no, it's just growling over there. We leave the salt out, we probably need that again. Okay, so here we're going to go, and we're going to mix these dry ingredients together. And raisins. I don't think raisins count as dry, but... This is how this tells you to mix this. Okay, so there we have. There we go. Dry ingredients together. Try to get the beater in a certain spot. Then we are going to add, now that we have that blended, we're going to add the butter, egg, and vanilla. Okay, so we're going to add 6 tablespoons of butter to this amount in the recipe. So I'm going to cut a couple tablespoons of this off and put in the remaining 6. Da-da-da, come on. Trying to get that to rip, and it don't want to rip. Look at that. Oh, it's being persnickety here. My goodness. I'm gonna let go. It does not want to let go. Look at this. I can't even cut this paper. That's a lame little knife right there. All right, let's see if I can make this work now. It's because it's so soft. I should have cut it before I softened it. And then it would have been fine, but did I do that? No. Okay, there we go. That's 6 tablespoons. I'm going to put this back in the refrigerator so it won't be so soft, because I won't need that. Then we're going to add a half a teaspoon of vanilla. Now this makes a really, really dry dough. There's our half a teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're going to use our other half of the egg. So there's our half an egg. So I did the other half in the other cookie dough, and this half, so we're not wasting the egg. The other half in this one. Okay. Then, now we're going to mix this up. Okay, there we go. Now I'm looking for my little scoop. Here it is. Then I'm going to get my pan. I'm going to put all these on the pan. Let me just get some of this out of the way here. See if I can put this pan over here. Okay, there's my pan. Let me take this down. Okay, and we're going to take this dough. Oh, it's still like wet in the middle. Why is it wet right there in the middle? It's a good question. Maybe I needed to beat it a little bit more. Okay. All right, put that down. Then I'm going to take my little scoop. And the thing is, making half this recipe, it should fit easily on this pan. Where usually I have to use 2 pans. Okay, so I make the little cookies. And I'm going to use this little miniature scoop. It's like a miniature ice cream scoop. And put them on the pan. Like I say, this is a little bit of a dry dough, but the cookies aren't dry. They don't end up being dry, so it's nice because I have nice juicy raisins in them. So once we get this done, we're going to bake it at 350 for 11 to 13 minutes. There we go. Let's continue to scoop the little dough balls here. I hope they're all going to fit on here. Gonna find out in a few minutes. Then we will move on to mixing our sour cream pound cake, and then by the time we get with that, the cookies will be done. And then we'll put that in the oven, and then we're going to be done for a little while. And I'm glad. Then I get to go sit down and rest for a few minutes. Yay! Yay! Okay. There we go. Okay, here we go. Scooping another. Got to be hopefully close to halfway through here. I need to scoot them over a little. There. So I don't know how many rows I'm gonna need, but I'm really wanting to put it on one pan because I want this to be like a one baking thing here. So then we can do. You know what? I just realized I need that butter back out. That 2 tablespoons of butter, I am going to need that to butter my pan for the sour cream pound cake. So I guess I actually do need that butter soft. That will make it easier. Okay, there we go. So tomorrow will be a busy day. I'll get up and I will do a bunch of cooking. And then I'm going to put on my makeup. And then I'm going to go visit aunts and uncles and cousins. All in one place. I'm not going to a bunch of places. All in one place. And then I'm going to go pick up my mother. And then we're going to go to my sister's house for Christmas Eve, which is when we do pretty much all our Christmas. And I hope I'm not totally exhausted by the time I get there. And then Christmas Day, since I really don't, there's like nowhere else to go, I will probably go to the aunts and uncles and cousins again. And we'll get to visit a little bit more, which I'm so glad because we didn't get to last year. And, this is robbing us of getting to see our extended family. I've been robbed of so much. I don't want to be robbed of that more. I've been robbed of everything I ever had or wanted. I don't want to be robbed no more. So I'm trying to take back what few things I can here. What little bit I can. You know, the Bible says that he's going to restore to you the years the cankerworm has destroyed. The years. Not just like pay you back, but he's going to give you back the years. And I'm like, oh. And I saw somebody on TikTok the other day saying, how many years have been stolen from you? And I got to thinking about that. How many? Well, there's probably more if you count the horrific school life I had. That was kind of stolen from me too, although I was there. But if you don't count that, if you count when I got married at 22, pretty much my life and future was stolen at that point, although I didn't know it for years. But if you think of it that way, it will be like 37 years that will have been stolen from me. That's a lot. So I'm like, all right, God, you're going to restore 37 years? The Bible says, restore to you the years the cankerworm's eaten. Cankerworm, what is that? That's a destructive parasite. That's what that is. It's a destructive, symbolic of a destructive, it's a destructive insect. And the locust, and it goes on to talk about all of them. So it's at least 37 years so far. So that's a lot of years. So if we start now, am I going to live 37 more years? Might. We've got a long ways to go. He needs to start soon. Let's restore 37 years to me that have been. But then the thing is, it needs to be like 37 extra years. Otherwise, you know, you can't just take my next 37 years and say, well, no, I was supposed to have those too. So it needs to be 37 additional years. Okay, so that's going to be a lot of years. I'm going to be old, I guess, for that to be true. Okay, so put that in. We're going to do 11 minutes. And then we're going to check that. All right, let me move this other tray out of the way that I'll probably use for the next batch of cookies. And then I'm actually going to need to wash the bowl this time. So let me wash my cake in this thing here. There we go. I think I got it all clean now, maybe. Alright, so now let's do just washing my pan and my beater. Just give me a second here, then we'll be done. I wish it was like on TV where I could just whoop out a clean one and have a crew to do all this cleaning for me or something. But I don't. It's me and only me. Like every other thing I do. Alright, let's see. Then let's wash. There we go. I just gotta rinse this one. Get all the soap off of it now. For just a minute. And let's find my recipe and get the rest of it. So I'm going to go ahead and butter my pan. So let's do that. So here's the pan. You want this tube pan. It works better with the one without the ridges for this kind of cake. So let me get my recipe back here. Let's see now. Where are you? Are you here? There you are. Okay. Sour cream pound cake. This is my grandmother's recipe. Although I think she got it from somebody else, but it's, you know, it was the one she had that I know of. Okay, so let's take this butter. is still soft. Very, very soft. You see that butter? Yeah, you can. So then I'm going to take this. You can do this actually with Crisco too. I know I've done it before with Crisco. Maybe I should do it with Crisco. Well, I've got this butter out now. I think it'll brown a little more with butter. But I'm going to take it on a napkin so I don't get my hands all messy. But you can use shortening if you'd rather. I think I usually do use shortening, but we're doing butter today. This is hope and pray it still turns out. So I don't usually use butter. Okay, and then you also want to do the edges, the top edge and this top edge, because sometimes it expands on top of that and sticks to it. So you don't want it to not come out of your pan because it's stuck to that top ledge. Okay. And I'm trying to grip it from underneath where like the hole is back here to keep a good grip on it. And smear this butter all around, all the way up the edges, and then you're just going to put some flour in it and shake the flour all around. There we go. Now, now I think we're done with the butter. I'm kind of making a mess with this butter. Smearing it everywhere. Let's put it in here so I can harden back up. Okay, so I'm going to take some flour, and then I don't measure the butter or the flour doing this. I just, you know, stick some in there. I'm going to knock most of it back off anyway. So then you're going to take, like, you know, 1/4 cup of flour or something. And then I'm going to shake it on the sides of the cone first, because that's the hardest thing to get it on, is this center cone. So put it on the cone, and then, that's actually less than 1/4 cup, but, you know, a little bit less than 1/4 cup. So then you're going to take and shake it around to get it on the rest of the pan. And then I take it over to the trash cans and try to not make a mess. And try to do those outer edges because they need flour on them too. Or you can take your finger and do it. Try to shake it all around the edges here. And then you shake off the excess into the trash or into a sink, whatever you want to do. So here I'm shaking it onto the ledge, the outer ledge, to get the flour on that. I just kind of let it fall over the edge. Smack it, get the extra off, and there we go. Look, see how it's all on the edge here and inside. So we have our pan is now ready. Put that down. We got 6 more minutes over here. So then let's put our bowl and heater back on here. I'm going to dry it out. Looking at my arm where I burned it, it actually feels a whole lot better with that 40 Cure Cream and 1 Drop Wonder on it. Okay, so here we go. There's our bowl. And then let's get our beater. Dry that off also. Put that in here. Okay, so then we are going to start with this, and we're going to cream our butter and sugar. Okay, we need 2 sticks of softened butter, which I have right here. That's 1 stick. This is a pretty much butter cake. It's so yummy. And the sour cream in it is what makes it not dry. This is the one cake I like to, if you are tempted to add vanilla flavoring to it, don't do it. It will change the taste of it. And it kind of, to me, it masks the taste of the butter. So even though I normally like vanilla and everything, I don't want it in this. Okay, so then you're going to add 3 cups of sugar. And this makes quite a bit of batter. It's kind of a big batter cake. Okay, so let's do my sugar here. And I'm going to do 3 cups. So I have, this is a 1.5 cup measuring thing right here. So let's fill it twice, and then we'll have 3 cups. Okay, there's a cup and a half. We'll do another cup and a half. Let's see how much I can get in it. It's almost empty. I mean, I do have more, but I'm trying to do this without refilling it. There we go. See if we can finish this before I have to fill up the sugar container. Oops, that didn't work. There we go. I've still got an empty spot over here. There. It'd be faster if I had just refilled it. Okay, there we go. Alright, so there's our 3 cups of sugar. So let's bring this up and we're going to cream that together. It likes to jump out of this bowl. Good evening, how are you? Turn it down a little bit. A couple more minutes on the cookies. Then it says you're going to add your wet ingredients. Okay, so one of the things this has is 6 eggs. So we're going to add the 6 eggs. It's also, as you can tell, it's really high in eggs. So let me get my little bowl. And a paper towel. There we go. And here we go. 1 egg. Ah. Well, you don't want that. That's 1. We're going to stir it up. 4. 5. I gotta get my cookies for beeping. 1 more egg. 6. Okay. And there's the last egg that goes in there. Stir that for a minute. So let's turn that off and get these cookies. Let us see how they look. Ooh, yeah, they look so cute. All right. Then we are going to turn this oven down too. So I'm gonna let those cookies sit there for like 3 minutes. And then also, it's warm over there. Okay, so we're going to bake, this cake gets baked on 300. So we're gonna turn that down quite a bit. This is a real low oven. So then this tells you to add all the wet ingredients and then the dry. I actually like to do it where you kind of add some of the dry and some of the, yeah, I kind of like to do it that way. So I'm going to add 3 cups of flour. So I'm going to start with 1. Ow. I'm going to do it in thirds. All right, let me try my 1 cup. Here it is. So let's get 1 cup of flour. This is my 1 cup measurer right here. I've done it this way before too. Put all that in there. Okay, here's one of the 3 cups of flour. And then it also says you're going to add a rounded teaspoon of baking soda. A rounded quarter teaspoon, quarter, ainty weensy, quarter teaspoon. You need a rounded quarter teaspoon. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that in now. So that just means you know, like that, you don't level that off. Why that's that measurement, I have no idea, because it's not exact, but that's what it is. So I'm gonna stir this in. Add some sour cream. Now it's going to take an entire cup of sour cream. I'm going to start with half a cup. And I'm going to do that in 2 batches. That just means the cookies have been sitting almost 3. That means they've been sitting 2 minutes. Okay, let me get the sour cream ready. So I'm doing dry, wet, dry, wet, dry. That's how I'm doing it, which is really like a standard way to do it. But this isn't how this cake was said to be done, but that's how I'm doing it. So I have left this sour cream out just for a little bit, so it's not ice cold, but it's not hot. It's not warm either. Okay, so we're gonna, we're escaping the edge here. So this is full sour cream. I do not know if this will work with other sour cream or not. Only ever used it with good sour cream, like full fat sour cream. Okay, so here is half a cup of sour cream. Let me scrape the rest of that out. Because the way this has it do it, the recipe tells you to just add all the wet ingredients and then add all the dry. So let me go ahead and get the, but I'm alternating it. That's a little bit more of a modern way to do it, I think. Okay, so let's put the other half of the cup of sour cream in my measuring cup, so it's ready. And let's turn this back on to mix that sour cream in. I'll use the rest of that sour cream tomorrow for a casserole. Okay, so then we're going to add another cup of flour. Try not to knock this on the floor. Let's try not to knock the sour cream on the floor. Please don't knock it on the floor. Okay, here we go. Get my knife, level this. And that's all. After you do the flour and sour cream, I mean, that's it. So there's that. It's going to be a lot of batter, really thick batter. That is correct, that's what it is. Okay, so then we're going to add the other half cup sour cream, so that will be all the sour cream. There we go. So let's stir that in. Okay, then we're gonna have one more cup of flour and then we are done with the batter. So I'm just measuring that into my 1 cup measure. Level it off with a knife. Dump that in. There we are. Mix that up and our batter's done. So let me get this out of my way here. Let's mix this in. Okay, so there we have our batter. See, it's real thick, supposed to be. And we're going to move over to our pan. Get this out of the way so I have some place to put my dish. Okay, pick this up here. Okay, and let me get all of this batter off of my beater. Definitely a butter batter. Phone is just making all kinds of notification noises. There we go. A little bit more. Feels so creamy. Make sure you have real clean hands. Almost there, almost there. Okay. Now, I'd say that's pretty much it right there. Get off my hands. Okay, so then you're going to actually have to scrape this. As you see, this isn't really going to pour very well. You scrape this into your pan. Just kind of go around the whole perimeter. And it's going to raise up out of the pan when it bakes. So, this is a cake, you don't want to open the oven and check it. You can, if you have an oven where you can peek in and turn on the light, you can do that. But you don't want to be opening and closing the oven door with this one. You want to just let it bake. And like I said, you can look at it. And then, of course, when it gets close to time, you can check to see if it's done with a very long, thin tester. See if it's finished. If it's still gooey, just like any other cake, bake it. I usually find it takes 5 or 10 more minutes than it says. It takes an hour and a half to bake at 300. It is a long bake, but it is so worth the long bake. All right, so there we go. Then I'm going to take... Now, this will kind of level itself in the oven because it's going to melt in the heat, but I like to go ahead and level it ahead of time. There you go. And there you go. And spread that out. The good thing about this year is going to visit aunts, uncles, and cousins. This will be like the first year that we've ever gone. We haven't cooked anything. They're going to have appetizers, which is fine. But oh my goodness, I have never gone and not cooked something. So it's going to be kind of strange. But we're not having a full meal. I think it's just too hard for everybody now. They're all in their 80s, so it's just getting to be more close to it. A little challenging. So they're going to have some appetizers, and they said nobody has to bring anything. Although I certainly would have. Okay, so I'm going to get this ready to be filled in there. All right, so let me set this for an hour and a half in the oven, 300 degrees, a low oven, 300. And then Let me make sure. Yep, 90 minutes. Okay, here we go. Like I said, I usually find it takes an extra 5 or 10 sometimes. All right, there we go. Then I'm going to take these cookies. Let me get a rack to put these cookies on. I'm going to put these cookies here. Okay, let's see. Do I even have a spatula? I think I've used them all. Oh, my spatulas are dirty. Here's one. Here are the oatmeal raisin cookies. Look at this. If you get a pan that's insulated on the bottom, they will never, ever, nothing will burn. Look at that. You want an insulated pan. No burning. Okay. These will stay a little chewy. Oh, so yummy, yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum. Okay. Let's bring them over here. I'm going to let these cool. Then I'm going to box them up for Dad, pretty much. Because these are his favorite cookies, oatmeal raisin. I wonder if I can get all of these on one rack. Let's find out. Okay. That is finally full of water. It takes forever. There's that. We're going to come close. I don't think we're going to quite make it onto one rack, but oh well. So close. Oh, I dropped my towel. Let me pick that up. Okay. Now this is interesting. This is like one of these cakes where they always would tell you don't slam the door. I don't know if you ever saw old shows or old movies or you remember that from your childhood where your mother, your grandmother, or somebody would be baking a cake and they'd be like, don't slam the door, the cake won't fall. Do you remember that? I don't really know if it's that much of a risk, but I think this is kind of one of those things. Don't slam doors, don't bang, don't want the cake to fall. I think it depends on the kind of cake. All right, I got 4 more cookies. 4! Got to get another rack for 4 cookies. I don't have to put it across the room, though. That's all right. We'll put it across the room. All right. There's 2. And 4. All right, so we are now done baking cookies. Well, we're done baking oatmeal cookies. Okay. Get that off my hands. And there we are done for the time being. So what time is it anyway? I have about, an hour and a half or something before the other dough will be ready. So, oh, that'll be a nice, great rest for me. So, I hope you have enjoyed watching. If you've watched live or if you watch the replay. And if I don't see you again, have a Merry Christmas. But I will be back for more. Thank you for watching. Bye.